for us, growth sometimes is not how many cases or how many attorneys you have, but the impact that you can give in the community.
Welcome to a new edition of City on a Hill. I'm your host, Whitney Mendoza, and today I'm joined by powerhouse, badass, all-around amazing woman, Gulliana Goehring. She is managing partner and trial attorney with Fry Goehring. Thanks so much for joining me.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Whitney. Thank you for having me. And this is amazing. I love the studio and all the vibe. And always so nice seeing you.
Of course. Well, I'm really excited to dive into my topic.
Okay.
First, just kind of give everyone a little bit of overview of what Fry Goehring does. I know it's personal injury and you do things like car accidents and medical malpractice, but I'd love for you to just share with our listeners what you focus on.
Yeah, so our main focus has been, since we started the firm, since Mr. Fry, my partner, my law partner, we do 100% personal injury, auto accidents, slip and fall, dog bite cases, basically any injuries caused by the negligence of other. And we focus on that, but we also are trial attorneys. What that means for somebody that's not in the legal field is if the case doesn't settle for one reason or another, we just go the extra step and we go to court and fight for our clients' rights.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when does typically someone know they need to call you, right? Because like I'm even thinking, getting an auto accident, okay, maybe it's a serious accident or maybe it's something simple or it's just like a fender bender or something else. How do they know to call you?
That is a great question. And the answer is actually as soon as you can, because a lot of the way that we work and a lot of other firms work is the consultations are free. So you, by reaching out to an attorney, doesn't mean that you're going to have a legal matter or going to court or anything. Because some people get a little, afraid, or I don't want to get into any trouble. I don't want to cause problems, And part of what we do actually is educate the community about the rights. Just because you're reaching out to an attorney or just because you have a claim doesn't mean that you're going to be in litigation, a courtroom, and all of that comes with it, right? But you do need to get legal representation right away. For example, in our case, our firm provides free consultations, right? But also, you don't have to pay the attorney or the law firm until you win your case and at the end of the case. So if you get an attorney involved from day one, or you get an attorney involved 6 months later after you get all your medical care, it doesn't cost you anything less. But what it really does is we make sure that all the evidence is there, making sure that all the steps are there, making sure that you don't say something that could hurt your case, because sometimes they want to get a recorded statement, they want to start getting information from you, they want you to sign. Right. A lot of the cases, and this is really sad, is they make you sign something that settled your case for like $500 or $1,000 when the client has not even had the chance to see a doctor, right? So is for the best interest for the client is to get a representation as soon as possible. And even it's just talking to us and we can guide them. And we may say, this is something that maybe it's okay for you to handle by yourself. Or this is maybe something that you need to explore a little further.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and I think that there are a lot of things that set the Fry Goehring law firm apart from others. Definitely your community outreach and involvement. But first, I actually want to dive into your story. Because you're originally from Peru.
Yes, it's where the accent comes from.
Well, it's cooler than mine. Tell us kind of when you knew you wanted to be an attorney, and then specifically why you went into personal injury, because that's something different too, right? Like, okay, you're like, everyone, okay, attorney. Every attorney, every practice of law, it's different. That's why there are different practices.
Yes.
So kind of what led you on this journey?
Yes. So yes, I'm originally from Peru. I actually went to law school in Peru before moving to the States. So I'm being always amazed, and I always wanted to be an attorney since I was a little girl. So some people may know this. So I grew up in a home with my grandparents. It's kind of common sometimes. My dad traveled a lot. So while my dad was away, we lived with my grandparents for a period of time.
Okay.
So my grandparents were ministers, evangelic ministers.
Yeah, okay.
So they did always support the community their home was always open. We had people that come in and out, and he always said, you don't need to have a lot to gift, right? Whatever you have, even your little time, whatever it is, somebody needs, sometimes just listening, right? So they were able to help their community any way they could. But when somebody was having a legal matter, a legal issue, especially when people are, underprivileged, or they have economics, or they're in a bad spot in their life, adding up a legal problem, it just becomes overwhelming. And of course, he cannot help. So I grew up with that mentality, like when I grow up, I want to be an attorney. My goal was hopefully to provide a lot of pro bono work, and I'm actually able to do that now through the firm at the work that we do for our clients, but also we're very involved in the community, and we're very involved with pro bono work as well.
So what kind of directed you specifically to personal injury when you were thinking, okay, I want to help people?
Yes, and that's one of the things that sometimes things happen for a reason. So when I moved to the States, I already have legal experience. I did an internship for 2 years in the doing criminal, and I think it's called, it's trying to translate it, it's like the public defender's office.
Okay,
something like that. And so I have some legal background, and I was learning English. I did study English in Peru, but it's different when you move to another states. So as I was looking for a job, and I was volunteer at the Latin America Association in their immigration department, and they were posting jobs, for different things. So I applied for some in a law firm, other different areas of law, and also outside, public, Target, whatever. At that time, I just wanted to get a job to be able to speak more, because that's so important. And I ended up with a firm that did personal injury, and that was my mentor, one it's called Flynn and Gottlieb, Ned Flynn. Shout out, he's a great attorney.
Nice.
I'm being just so lucky, to be honest with you. I just come across people that become my mentors, that really care. I think good things come around, right? So I started working for him as a part-time legal assistant. I ended up being his senior paralegal firm manager. I did some of his marketing. I was with him for almost 8 years. It's a long time.
Wow.
So, and I love it. At that point, I think I found my niche. And later on, when I went to law school and I did all of that, I'm like, well, maybe I want to change. And I was already working for Randy. And I decided maybe I always wanted to do maybe international law or import-export, something like that. But then the more I thought about it, the more I actually got into law. And then I just realized I was where I needed to be.
Yeah. So then share with us kind of how you met Mr. Fry, and then now to managing partner, named partner, because all of that was just announced at the top of this year. And us having this conversation makes it sound like it happened overnight, but this is like 20 years in the making. So how did all that come together?
So I'm been in the legal field for 21 years as a legal assistant. I started from the beginning and walked my way through to college and all of that. So I started working for Randy when he opened his firm 2 weeks within.
Wow. Okay.
And like I said, things just happen sometimes. He had somebody else line up, an experienced paralegal, and something happened, and that didn't happen. So he found himself, he always say, in a desk, rented desk, but back then, in one office, saying, oh, now what I do. So I'm always being very involved. So I was part of the GTLA paralegal section, Trial Lawyers Association, and he posted the job there. And I have many friends that knew that I was looking for a different position, because I was working for Flynn and Gottlieb for many years, and then I did some contract work for other attorneys within the same building. But I'm like, I was ready. My goal at that time, and when you put things out there, I think it happens. That's how my philosophy. So I was, praying. I wanted to be in a firm that I can start it from the ground up and build it to something bigger.
Oh, wow.
Right? And be able to have a better outreach. So that was my mentality. That was my goal. And I came across Randy's post, and he interviewed me, and then as they said, then we started working together. I was his paralegal, bookkeeper, receptionist, copy girl, coffee. I mean, everything.
Yeah,
and to me, nothing is too big or small, right? If I didn't know something, I figured it out. And Randy, he's an amazing person. I know you know him, and he has the biggest heart. And he just gave me the opportunity to really run with it. So I managed their marketing team as well. At that time, I was the team. So creating all those procedures and all of that. So then, I guess, moving forward, we're 3 attorneys and around 12 support staff.
Wow.
So we have grown. We have, it's a very blessing to be where we are. And of course, we want it to be even bigger because for us, growth sometimes is not how many cases or how many attorneys you have, but the impact that you can give in the community. And that's kind of where we want it to be. We want to grow to be able to give more, to be able to have a better impact and a better outreach.
Yeah. Well, I love that, and I really admire that about you because today I feel like that's hard to find in general, right? I feel either one, everything is viewed as that overnight success, or people just expect to be at the top, and it doesn't really work that way. It takes a lot of hard work and years really to do that.
It does, and also to me, if the more you give, amazingly enough, the more you receive. Like if I'm always been a mentor. When I was in law school, I was working full time, raising kids, struggling. Days I cry in the bathroom, my house, their school bathroom. Just not me, everybody was overwhelmed. Law school is very stressful, especially when you're going through working and taking evening classes and all of that. But I found myself, when I was in that spot that I was just feel helpless, I started volunteer to be a mentor for other students because I knew I had a lot on my plate, but also I was able to overcome a lot already. And I was able to manage having a family and all of that. So I figured like if I give my time, I found, a better, I don't know, I just find it like it was easy for me to manage my own struggles.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And I was able to, I was a mentor, and then I become the PR director and co-director with other mentors as well. And I was able to actually won some awards for that. But besides the awards and all of that, I think what I got from me is when you always give, you always receive more than what you give. So that's kind of being our philosophy, personal philosophy for me and Randy, and also is what the firm vision is.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to take that a little bit deeper too, because in the same that it's viewed as an overnight success, I feel like, especially with social media and those types of things, we look and we're like, wow, she's got it all together. He's got it all together. You're a wife, you're a mom of 2 sweet boys.
Yeah, 4 in total.
4, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. There's a lot of time and dedication that goes into that. So what would you say to someone who's like, Juliana, how do you get it all done?
Yeah, I heard that a lot. And I always tell them, I don't hit it. I don't do everything.
Yeah.
2 things are very important, at least to me. Well, 3 things. One is finding your support, your support team, and have an amazing team. That's what I say, I don't do it all. Now I just show up and manage more, but I'm still trial cases and trying to do it all, but you cannot literally do it all. But finding a good group, and that means in your work, it means also in your family, be able to ask for help, and that to me was the hardest thing to do. But when I started law school, I realized that I could not do everything. So I'll be able to, and I have a support system. So friends, family, other moms, even within the school, what I was talking about, the mentorship program, that's what I found. I found a really good support system within the school. Other moms that were dealing what I was dealing. And even sometimes we can help each other, but sometimes we can just call and just talk and just can be able to help each other because nobody is alone, right? So be able to find a good support team within and also at home. Also, let go the guilt. And to me, that was one of the hardest, and I'm still working on it. Be able to get rid of the guilt, the mommy guilt.
Right.
You may not be able to make to all of the activities. You may not be able to, be for dinner every night, and that's okay. As long as you are with them when it's needed. Like the weekends, I try to be there as much as possible. Sometimes I actually try to mix it a little bit. For example, with my husband, if I have 2 or 3 networking events a week and say, okay, maybe he can come with me one and we can spend some time together, right? And lately, to me, because I'm always being like going type of person, actually now I find it time to self-care and be able to take care of yourself. And now have a life coach. I never thought I would be able to have one. And then I also have worked with a business group and a business coach. You know them, Revive.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry,
Renew. Yes,
Kristen, Renew, the Renew community. So asking for help to me is so important. So you cannot do it all, but you can do a lot if you be able to focus, find the right people, love them, like Kristen say, love them hard, find your people, and don't be too hard on yourself. And then self-care is so important.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. That's how I am with sleep. I just do better if I have sleep.
Yes, you cannot do. And the other thing is, I always try to eat very healthy, but now I'm trying to be more focused on what I put in my body, because you're right. I mean, if you don't get the sleep and you're eating bad, then you're not going to be able to perform.
Right.
So it's really, you have to take care of yourself to be able to take care of others.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I love the way Fry Goehring backs up what they say with helping people, because I think it's very evident in the firm and how you handle cases, but as I alluded to earlier, it's evident in how you're involved in the community. And there's a recent article where Mr. Fry essentially commented, instead of putting money toward like billboards, ads, because you are doing some of that.
Yes.
But compared to maybe some of the other firms, it's not so in your face.
Yeah.
And so he was asked, well, what do you do? And his response was essentially, instead of putting money toward those billboards and things like that, we're putting money back into the community.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, I love that, because even though you're not doing it with that heart of expectancy, I think is the key. You give back because you want to, and you're involved in a lot of things. So how does that drive what you do? And then maybe share some of the initiatives that you're involved with.
Yes, and I think that's so important in the sense that I love how Randy's heart is, and we're on the same page since we started the firm. I think that's what the vision and the culture is, and kind of carries everywhere. He always says that we prefer, instead of massive advertising somewhere else, we prefer putting back in the community, because we always say, if it doesn't work, you know what the worst thing that can happen? We just give back, and we just impact somebody. We impact the community. We give something, and it does come back. It may don't come back directly, but indirectly, I think it's one of the things that when you put good out there, good does come back to you. And we like to empower, because small businesses and local artists as well, because we are also small business in the sense, we start from the beginning, and we still consider a small, mid-sized business a local business. So that's kind of our focus, has been really being ingrained in the community. And one of the many things that we work with, and we always say, if you are there and if you know any events or anything or any group that we can support, we can always take a look. We cannot say yes to everything, but we do say yes to a lot of things. We are doing a golf event on May 1st. It's with
Legotech.
Legotech.
Yes.
Legotech.
I know which one you're talking about. Yes. Because that's Chateau Alon, I think it is.
Yes, it's in Chateau Alon, May 1st, and it's a really good nonprofit organization. What they do is they help schools and other groups to provide a lot of the equipment for children that have either learning disabilities or physical disabilities.
Yeah.
And so how we stumbled to this particular one is one of our legal assistants has a child that has some difficulties and challenges. So this is the second time that we are able to sponsor them. And I love what they do. They also provide families, and we're going to put that information on the website as well, on our social media, is if you have a child that is special needs or has difficulties, they have programs that they can go to the zoo, they can go to different attractions or different programs, and everything is free.
Wow.
So the families, they're struggling, they can get that support that's so needed for their children when, maybe they're more skills or whatever it is that is not out there. They can help facilitate through play. That's kind of their thing. Yeah. We also support Lionheart. We have been doing that for many years. There's a school for special needs, autistic, and anybody on the spectrum. And my son actually is a high-performing autistic.
Okay.
And he has a lot of challenges, but he overcome them. So that's something that is very dear to my heart. We also provide some, what is called, the nonprofit that actually, Angels Among Us Pet Rescue Group.
Yes. Angels Among Us.
Yes.
Yes.
So we are foster parents for them. I'm actually sitting on the board as one of the advisory board.
Yeah.
We've been there for a long time. We do. So we don't only put money, we put our time too.
Right.
We always done it that way. Randy is actually one of the things I love what we do in Christmas. Through the Atlanta Bar Association, I have joined a couple of times too, but he's the main elf for Santa. And that provides different entertainment and different fun things and they work with several nonprofits. So they may do the special needs, but they also do women that are going through a lot, like domestic violence and some refugees as well. So different organization. He's just the main elf for Santa through the Atlanta Bar Association.
I love that.
Yeah. And to be honest, just follow us, and I know you do, through our social media, because we're always doing something. We're always getting involved. The other thing that I really like is if we are doing an event, but I mean an event, like sometimes we do them with Telemundo, Univision, or different other groups in a particular location. We not only bring our tent, but every time we are there, we provide free consultations and free legal advice depending on the area of law. Because we feel like sometimes people, if they see you and they have a question, usually one of our attorneys are there. A lot of the times I'm there.
Yeah. One, before I let you go, because I didn't even bring this up, you have FryGoehring.com. All your English accounts are at Fry Goehring, but you also have Spanish.
Yes, abogados.
And you're very involved in the Hispanic community, so I'd love for you to touch on that a little bit too.
Yes, so we're bilingual. Our staff is bilingual. We actually have somebody that also speaks Portuguese, and somebody speak Romanian.
Okay, wow. I didn't even know that.
A little thing. But yes, we have abogados, Fry Goehring. We also have our website, that's tusabogadosdegeorgia.com.
Awesome.
And yes, all our contact is translated. A lot of the contact may be brand new contact that's just focused on the Hispanic market. But our clients are everywhere, and we have a lot of outreach in different communities. And we try to do that.
Awesome.
We remain purposely on that.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that we were able to share and get the word out there. And so if people want to connect with you directly, Gulliana, how do they do that?
Yes, so you can just go through our website. There is actually a link through each bio, and you can just send a message, or you can just call our office. And all the lines, if you're a new client or whatever, we really try to make ourselves available. We're 24/7 in a way. Somebody, if you try to reach us, you can reach us that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also through social media, you can always send us a message as well. Oh, and before we leave, I forgot something very important that I wanted to give a shout out. It's Atlanta John Marshall. It's our school, Randy and I's law school. They have a program that's called the Vet Legal Clinic.
Okay.
We provide services, a lot of them homeless veterans that are going through struggle. So I'm one of the attorneys that we provide pro bono work. So if anybody knows of a veteran that is in need of legal advice or whatever, just reach out to us, because that is free. It's free service for anybody that needs it. And what I like about this particular program is it's associated with the Veterans Affairs. So if somebody's having a legal problem, they don't only taking care of the legal matter, but also what is really causing. A lot of the times maybe PTSD, substance abuse, or whatever that may be, or homelessness, and they're trying to find reasonable accommodations for that person to be able, they do like a holistic approach, everything what is really causing the problem. So anybody that knows it, we're going to put more information on social media as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you brought that up. I think that's a really important initiative. So awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. Definitely go get all the contact information, phone numbers, see where they're at, because you're on radio and a lot of different places, see all their upcoming events. Check that out on FryGoehring.com, social media, Fry Goehring, and Abogados Fry Goehring. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.